It's that time of the year again, folks, although it certainly doesn't feel like it. It's absolutely freezing. Early April, summer has no way arrived, I can tell you. We're here at Brands Hatch for the opening round of the 2013 Eastern Airways British Sidecar F1 Championship. I've chosen this spot. We're halfway up the hill to Druids. I just wanted to show you how steep that drop is from Paddock Hill Bend down that hill. It's only when you're standing here you realise just the contours of this place are unbelievable. British Superbikes have just finished their early morning qualifying. We're running with British Superbikes in 9 of the 10 rounds, and it gets even better. We're with World Superbikes at Donington. This series just improves year on year. Let's take a look then at where we are and when we're there for the 2013 season. Well, as I said, that round 3 Donington Park World Superbikes. Well, that's the first for me, I can tell you. Brands, we're here this weekend, obviously. Thruxton, the next one up. Then up north to Knockhill. Snetterton, it's quick there. Back to Brands. Donington Park again. Over the water to Assen, Silverstone. And it all ends here for round 10, middle of October. Seems 100 years away. What a great lineup. First we go to Assen, last year in Assen, again we're in Assen, now we're at World Superbikes. The series just goes up and up and up. Let's have a chat with some of the riders and see what they think about the 2013 season. Craig, 10 rounds, one of them for the first time with World Superbikes. A fantastic season. Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I really am. Driving down here the other day, I thought, really I'm up for this season, but it's been a tough old winter. The climate, the economic climate's not getting any better. Fortunately, we've got a couple of new sponsors on this year, and EADA here this weekend. We're here on the grid, and we've just about scraped the cash in to do it. It's
good to see you. I know all about the team. Know you've got a new fantastic Dutch passenger. We'll cover that in commentary, but have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Mark, you're back again, still with Kawasaki. Is 2013 going to be your year?
I hope so. Yesterday went really well. Kawasaki, we spent a lot of time in the winter on the dyno, trying to develop it a bit more, and yeah, I hope so. Well, things went well yesterday, so let's hope we can keep it going.
Well, if the paint job's anything to go by, then it's going to fly.
Well, yeah, it might look pretty, but yeah, a lot of it's down to me and Lee, so yeah, we're just going to do our best.
Well done.
Thanks a lot.
Ben Birchall, obviously a very busy year ahead for you. Where do the Eastern Airways fit in with that lot?
Everywhere we can. Yeah, it's important to us, you know, to be here, and it just keeps growing stronger and stronger. It's a real credit to everyone that's involved in it. We'll be doing as many as we can around the World Championship. We're prioritising that. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Sean, last year at this very track you came in halfway through the season and won races, took it by storm. This year you've got 10 rounds to do. How are you looking forward to it?
I'm really looking forward to this year. Got a new engine's gone in. Callum's fitter than he's ever been. I've lost a bit more weight since we first started. Bike's good, we're good. Just hope we get the results.
One of the best seasons in prospect, I think, don't you?
I hope so. We've got everything in place to be a good season. We picked up some sponsorship off Q8 and, like I say, John Lawson and my dad helping out loads and loads and loads. So we're just hoping for a good season. Reliability, keep the bike going, clock up the points.
Well, the man who will obviously have a view on the new season is the reigning champion, Roger Lovelock. 10 rounds, it's going to be tough this year, Roger?
Well, yeah, it will be definitely tough. We've got Tim back doing all the rounds now. We've got Ben and Tom Burchill here, and yeah, we've got some quick teams out here. Complete new learning curve for us, because we've don't know anybody is aware of it. We've gone from the Suzuki power plant to BMW this year. We see what Jörg Steinhausen could do on it last year, and we were well impressed with that. So I've bitten the bullet and gone to German technology now. So it's definitely not going to be easy. Going BMW, providing it stays reliable for us, I think, you know, that's going to be in our favour anyway. But we have no choice. So yeah, it's going to be tough.
So it's Team Driver Wolf BMW.
Team Driver Wolf BMW, yeah.
It says something about the Eastern Airways Championship when 4 times world champion and reigning champion Tim Reeves has indicated that he intends to do all 10 of the domestic rounds. How did that come about?
Well, yeah, it was good to win the World Championship again, but I worked hard in the winter and just it didn't get me any recognition. It didn't bring us any sponsorship in. We struggled really hard, and unfortunately with no TV coverage at the World Championship, there's nothing to sell a sponsor. So this championship offers you a lot better sponsorship prospects, you know. So we've worked hard over the winter, and we've managed to get some good backing from SMT and Hayth and H&S Contractors, all my local sponsors that would rather see me race in England. So it's financially better, and it's just a better place to be, isn't it? It's more professionally run. You've got a good TV package now, and there's good prize money to be earned, and the competition's good. The competition's as good, if not better, than the World Championship anyway. So it's probably going to be harder to win a race in the British Championship than to win one in the World Championship.
Brilliant, great to see you here, and have a good season.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Well, we've seen the calendar. We've heard what some of the riders think about the season ahead. There's no better way to start the season than here at Brands on the Indy circuit. They should be lapping at something around 48 seconds, but in this cold, it's anybody's guess. Let's have a look then at the very quick lap of the Indy circuit at Brands Hatch.
This place started life as a grass track, kidney-shaped in the other direction, way before World War II. But we're on board with the Finning Cat Suzuki of Ben Holland, Paddock Hill Bend. The fearsome drop, it's a lot steeper than it looks. We'll be hooking fourth up to Druids, back two. Second gear around Druids. This is where the passenger is on the back wheel, getting the drive. Moving his body slightly now, third gear into Graham Hill Bend. Backside kissing the rumble strip along the bottom straight here towards Surtees, this left-hander, and it's a left-right. The passenger has to get across now to the right, and Clearways goes on forever. But it's a very short lap on the exit from Clearways, driving third, pulling fourth on the apex of this bend, driving, halfway down the straight, they'll hook fifth. 48 seconds, that's all it takes. That's a lap on the Indy circuit. Last season in our shows we introduced what we called the Spotlight feature. It was so successful we're going to run again in 2013, looking at specific areas within the paddock. That could be anything from a rider to a bike, anything at all really of interest that we think you might want to know about. Our Spotlight feature for the first show is new names in the paddock. We've got a couple of high-profile big names who are with us for the first time, and we have a couple of new teams, exciting colours, interesting guys. One of the two new teams in the paddock for 2013, Rupert Archer and Jason Grimes. Team Hannafin, by the look of the sponsor's name behind. I'm delighted to say they're from my part of the world, up in Shropshire, obviously travelled a long way this weekend. They've earned their points, if you like, their stripes, their credence from the BEMC Championship, Club Championship last year. This is the big league, eh?
Definitely a lot bigger than BEMC Championship last year, totally and utterly different.
But you almost won that.
Nearly won it, not quite. We had a couple of technical issues towards the end of the season, and we didn't quite get there. But that's racing. Jason,
you were here both last year, toe in the water at Brands, so you've seen this setup before, but are you in awe?
Yes, it's very professional, very well organised. Yeah, brilliant.
Nervous?
I'm very nervous now, actually, yes.
Chill, there's nothing to it. It's as easy, just get on it and ride it. Rupert, looking behind, over there, look, Hannafin, that's a new name to the paddock for us. What does he do? He's your big sponsor, I guess.
Hannafin is our main sponsor, and we basically do civil engineering, groundworks all over the country. They're multi-million-pound sites, and I'm really happy. He's come on board this year. He's invested a lot of money into the team, a lot of money into the outfit, and he's there all year for us. So I couldn't ask for a better sponsor. I really couldn't.
Brilliant. Well, good luck. Great to talk to you. Hopefully I'll get to meet your money man at some stage during the season.
Definitely.
So have a good day, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The second of our new crews for 2013, Simon Gilbert, Nathan Robinson. I've seen the name of Simon Gilbert around the paddock in the 2 or 3 years that I've been involved, simply because he's not new to sidecar racing, far from it, but he has been off the scene for a little while. But he's back. Vivid orange, you can't mistake it. It's going to be great from a commentary point of view. And another new sponsor's name, ePayMe. Come in, guys, Simon and Nathan. Driver, Simon Gilbert, nice to meet you. Nathan, hello. As I say, you've been around a while. You've done a few. Tell us a little bit about your track record so far, Simon.
I started racing when I was 17. I was the youngest ever person to win the 350 championship at the age of 17 in my first season. From there, progressed to Formula 2s on 600s and then on to the Formula 1s. I won the British Cup and the European Championship in 2008. We did World Championship in 2009, but we had a real bad season with engine problems. Then I suffered a bad shoulder injury, and I had to take a step back to Formula 2 just to allow the shoulder to repair and have an operation. And then this season, back with a bang, and hopefully we'll back up the sharp end.
Well, that explains why I've seen your name around. It's been on trailers, it's been everywhere. So your kit's been everywhere. Nathan, you've got a family connection in the paddock as well as being passenger with this guy. So tell us a bit about your track record. Where have you come from?
I started, about the same as Simon, like 16, 17. Started with my brother-in-law, who's now Ben Holland's dad. So
John Holland?
Yes. So we contested a few championships, won a few. Then I retired. A couple of years ago, someone asked me to come back and passenger. Done a season with him, won a championship there, and here we are together here.
G-Force Racing, the name of the team, but let's talk a bit about ePayMe. There's a guy who apparently has come out of nowhere and helped you massively.
Yeah, it was a real shock to the system. After 22 years of racing, I've never actually had a title sponsor. It's always been down to family and friends. And the guy that owns this company, Andy, he bought my girlfriend's race bike. And he came round to our house, we got chatting, and he was saying about how we're getting on for sponsorship. And I said, as per usual, been let down. And we struck up a deal, and it looks like it's going to be a 3-year contract between us. And yeah, without him, I wouldn't be here. You know, I just can't thank him enough.
Well, it's lovely to talk to you both. I wish you all the very best, not just for this weekend, but for the rest of the season, because you're a quality addition to the championship, and it's a pleasure to meet you both.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
I'm standing in front of this very impressive hospitality unit, courtesy of Blue Machinery, the first of our new big names in the paddock for 2013. Alongside me, Eugene Donnelly, the man in charge of it. Eugene, how did you come to be involved?
We have a big connection with customers who are interested in all types of motorsports, and obviously superbikes and sidecar racing is a big part. And we've a close connection with Roger Boddy, who owns and operates the RK1 team. So he was the guy that introduced us and encouraged us to come here today.
Well, it's great for you to be here. It's lovely to see you. Now, in a nutshell, what does Blue Machinery do?
Blue Machinery supply a huge range of waste recycling equipment and quarry equipment to the quarry and waste recycling industry. So yeah, it's a big business today, and we're right in the middle of it, and have a great range of products that we source from the best manufacturers all over the world.
There are a lot of synergies between that type of business and motorsport.
Yeah, the bottom line is, and I keep telling the guys that haven't been here, that we sell to a bunch of petrol heads, and when you send an invite out for a motor race event, you get a good response, and the response that we've had this weekend from our customers has been tremendous, absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you for the input. It's brilliant seeing you here, and we'll go have a good season, won't we?
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to coming to many more of the events as well.
A name synonymous with the construction industry, Finning Cat, a big player, already involved in motorsport in certain areas, putting their toe in the water with 3 wheels for the first time, and it's great to have them in the F1 sidecar paddock. Finning Cat, then, what a great name. Alongside me, Martin Dewey from Finning.
Hi there.
This is your first venture, Martin. Welcome to here at Brands Hatch.
No, thank you.
Sidecars, new thing for you.
Absolutely, yeah, really looking forward to it. First race today, and the boys are doing well so far, and hopefully get a podium.
The brand is strong, isn't it? It's a good brand, great colours, it sticks out, jumps out at you.
All over the UK and Ireland, yeah, so yeah, there'll be a lot of visibility here, so no, it's good.
And what's going to be your plan for the season? Are you having corporate guests along? Is that how you're going to use it?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to bring corporate guests on the big race day, and obviously bring all the engineers and stuff on the Saturday to get them guys involved as well.
On your right shoulder, Lee Watson, no stranger to us on TV here with the Sidecar series. Lee, a big day for you, really, to get someone like Finning Cat on board in your team?
Yeah, fantastic. We're really excited. I mean, right from the start, they've been really helpful with us. We've got everything branded up now to give really good visibility, and hopefully it's going to give us the resource that we need to put in a real championship fight now.
Finning Cat, Lee Watson, great to have them in the paddock. What a season it's going to be. Well, the talking's all done, at least for now. It's time for the first track action of the weekend, the all-important qualifying, the Indy Circuit at Brands. It's never been more vital than to get a pole position than it is on this track. Is it going to be Reeves? Is it going to be Birchall? Is it going to be Hegarty? One thing's for sure, all of those guys are going to be gunning for the front row. Let's see who comes out on top.
Well, you heard from the lips of Ben Birchall that he's not doing all the rounds, so those that he is in, he's really got to perform well, and he pushed very, very hard in qualifying, set down in the first couple of laps a very quick time. Andy Peach looking very bright as well, and I was impressed with the livery, the way these riders and Sidecar passengers have presented themselves, not least of all Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett, who went extremely quickly on this Kawasaki. The third season for this bike, they've now got it dialed in. The Finning Cat Suzuki of Ben Holland and Lee Watson was always going to be a front of the grid contender, and they did not disappoint. Teething troubles for Lovelock and Lawrence, the reigning champions, but they still got a good enough time to give themselves a fighting chance in the race. Hegarty and Lawson, though, were never going to be sluggish, and they did not disappoint either. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson just got their heads down, and despite the cold conditions, pushed and pushed and pushed. Birchall's, though, had a problem. They were in the pits, but they'd already tucked away some very fast laps. So it was going to be a good front row start for Birchall and Reeves. Reeves, though, claiming pole position after coming out slowly, finding his feet and just winding up the Suzuki.
Tim, Tristan Reeves, a good way to open the batting. Pole position here at Brands Hatch, and now the sun's come out.
Yeah, what result, eh? What a good start to the season. I'm over the moon, mate. The bike's good. We had a slight problem with it throwing wall track in free practice, so we fitted a new engine, and we used 15 minutes of that session to run it in, but it was brilliant. We had the 5 minutes at the end, and yeah, we got a clear run, and it was good. Everything was perfect. Trish has jumped straight in and fitted in well, and it all seems good for the new team, eh?
I was going to say that, Trish. You know, you've been away, but you've been here before as well, so you know what it's all about. Any surprises?
Yeah, it was a bit. We went to France a couple of weeks ago to do a bit of testing, and yeah, it was definitely a shock when I got back on it for the first time. But by the end of the week, we was near enough there, and we come here and we had a few issues yesterday. But luckily, we had a few laps at the beginning of that session to warm the engine in. So by the time he opened her up and we set that time, I was all settled. So it was all right. Yeah.
Well, there it is, alongside them, Birchall. So Birchall, Reeves front row, Hegarty and Peach side by side. They were never going to be far off that, were they? Holland and Edwards, what a battle royal that presents us. Barry James, Aki Alto there with Gary Horsepole and Paul Napton on row 4. Chaplow, he's going well alongside reigning champion Roger Lovelock. Stevens behind him. Roger Body and Brian Gray on row 7. The new boys side by side, Archer and Gilbert on row 9. And there at the back, Andy and Phil Sloan and Rod Robbins.
Well, I've done a fair bit of walking and an awful lot of talking, and just like everybody in the pits here, they're taking a short break. We're going to take a short break. Join us again after that break on the grid for race 1. Race 1 then at Brands Hatch. The sun has come out, it's still jolly cold, but the tarmac will be a little bit warmer than it was this morning. We're on row 4. A lot's been happening on row 4. Look at this. Gary Horsepole and Paul Napton, terrific qualifying for them. They did exceptionally well. Good to see Ben Holland and Lee Watson here alongside them. They had a few problems on suspension setup, but now they've got it sorted. So we're going to go through. It's easy enough for me because I'm walking forwards. KP, you can come with me. Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson, they've almost got a clear run through because we're missing someone from the front row, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Just swing around and look at this beautiful Kawasaki of Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett. What a ride he had, both in free practice and in qualifying. Mark Edwards looking the business right here then on row 3. Moving through to row 2, well, we've got a new front row. We've got Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson because the Birchall brothers have blown up. They won't be racing. Pole position, Tim Reeves and Tristan Reeves, his brother. It's going to be a great race. Watch Hegarty charge through. 15 laps, 18 miles in the sunshine. Couldn't be better, could it?
So, despite a brilliant qualifying and a front row time, Ben and Tom Birchall are loading the truck and transporter to get off home because they're in the World Championship in Spain next weekend. Will they get it sorted? Never mind them. We're back here at Brands Hatch. Tim Reeves and Tristan Reeves from pole position are just edged out by Andy Peach, number 4. Andy Peach went across the front of the Kentish man and did a great job. And Reeves hasn't got him either. Peach and Richardson lead up towards Druids. On the outside, it's Reeves having a look round, but that's also leaving a gap for Sean Hegarty, who's on the inside. 3 abreast they come down Graham Hill on this first lap. Settle down, boys. There's a long way to go. Andy Peach, though, waiting for Tim Reeves, who's right behind him. Are we going to see Reeves flash through? Oh, yes, we are. Look at that immaculate passing manoeuvre by Tim and Tristan Reeves. Andy Peach then having a much better... Oh, Simon Gilbert, Nathan Robinson, hand in the air on the first lap. So their foray, their first venture into the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship, thwarted on race 1. Alongside me, I'm delighted to say, back again this year, co-commentator Carol McBride, former F1 Sidecar passenger, of course. Carol, glad to be back. What an action we've got ahead of us.
Yeah, fantastic race, isn't it? Thanks for having me back, Barry. I'm pleased to be here. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. I think Tim's probably going to be hard to beat around here, don't you think?
Yeah, home ground for him. He's pretty quick on Brands. Long or short circuit makes no difference. But Hegarty too in third place. Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson, they like it round here, but they've got something in front of them called Andy Peach at the moment.
Yeah, they're another local boy, and he's a Kent man as well, and this is his local circuit too. And Sean's all over the back of him, isn't he?
Oh, there's Gilbert and Robertson. We saw the hand go up on the first lap, indicating that they had a misfire problem. So these bikes, we run super stock bikes in the F1 Sidecar. We've got engines from Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki and BMW, and they all come, of course, with the standard road electronic package, and that, Carol, can cause problems.
Yeah, it can, and there's a lot of people who switch engines this year. People have gone over to BMW, as already heard. Some people are running Kawasaki. And they don't have a lot of opportunity to practice in the close season either, so first one's pretty much where all the problems are going to come through.
One of the biggest challenges is to get the oiling system right, because motorcycles carry a wet sump. That's the oil sits in the crankcase, and as it goes round bends, then the oil stays in line with the engine. With a sidecar, you go around, the G-force throws all the oil to the side, and if it sucks air, it's game over.
Yeah, well, a lot of them do run dry sumps, don't they? And also you've got the issue with the tilt sensors as well, which you have on the solos. That can cause massive problems in the sidecars.
Well, no such problems for Tim Reeves on the SMT Suzuki out in front. SMT, a metal coating business. Now, James Whittam told me it was someone's metal treatment, and I'll get that for you next time I talk to you. But Robin Croft, the boss there, running formerly a superbike team, is now running super stock from his great big impressive truck, and he's running Tim Reeves as well, who is at the front of this race. You're looking at the second place crew. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson running number 4. Right behind them, Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson, who are watching Tim Reeves disappear away into the distance. And Hegarty, I think, Carol, will be feeling just a little bit frustrated. Is Andy holding him up, or is he giving him as good as he gets?
No, I don't think Andy's holding up. I think he's, you know, both holding their own. But I think we actually probably also Sean move forward as the race progresses, because he really wants it.
Here we go. He does want it. He's up the inside. Yes, he threw into second then. Sean Hegarty threw into second. Underneath at Paddock Hill Bend, Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Second gear round here. Round they go. Driving. This is low gear, of course. The front can skip across, end up on the grass if you're not careful. Hegarty effectively has left the door open, but he cuts back across. Callum Lawson's movement was restricted a bit there. Couldn't get out too far because he'd have sat on Andy Peach's nose cone.
He might put a big dent in it, won't he? Or should I say a small dent?
A little dent, yeah, no, a small dent. Come on, let's be kind to him. Callum Lawson, not the biggest of figures in the sidecar paddock, but uses his weight extremely well. Moves around the outfit. Reunited with brother Tristan, world champions in 2005, 2006 together, Tim and Tristan Reeves, and Tim, of course, having lifted the title on 2 other occasions, once with Greg Clues and once with Ashley Hawes. I had to think then. Well done. Thank you, Carol. Here we go then. Reigning champions, Lovelock and Lawrence, BMW powered. So a new challenge for Roger Lovelock. He envied the BMW speed of Jörg Steinhausen, and nothing was more notable than at Snetterton last year when Steinhausen's BMW was a missile.
Yeah, it certainly was, wasn't it? I mean, there's no one that could touch him on that, was there? It looks like Roger was having problems in qualifying, and we can see that now, can't we, with his progression for that race.
Gary Horspoll, Paul Napton. Napton, of course, on the build-based BMW last year, but Gary Horspoll, the one rider to run Honda, and they've had a mechanical problem, and that's a shame, because Horspoll now is flying. He's really got to grips with the F1 outfit, a former F2 champion, of course, had a massive crash, had a couple of years away, now he's back on F1, and he's really got in the groove. Reeves coming up to lap the tail-enders. There's Brian Gray and Roy Farmer. Andy Peach going through. Ben Holland, Lee Watson, number 60 on the Finning Cat bike, with Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett, who qualified so strongly, chasing them down. John Clark and Dipash Chauhan. John Clark from Banbridge County Down. Through on the inside goes Tim Reeves. They lap, of course, Carroll here very, very quickly because it is such a short circuit. Lap times in the region of 48 seconds. Is the traffic necessarily a problem?
Yeah, I think it will be in this race. Definitely that's going to make a big difference. And that looks like Ricky Stevens back in the pit lane, doesn't it? It's a shame.
Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charlwood on the Yamaha. Well, they've retired, but they were going strongly in practice. So a lot to come from one of those young crews, I think, promising a heck of a lot. Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood, another young crew who have to deliver this year on the Finning Cat Suzuki. Ben Holland and Lee Watson, very pretty, and a great passing manoeuvre underneath goes Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett on the, again, another pretty up. Everybody's raised their game in terms of appearance and professionalism. How good does that Kawasaki look?
It looks fantastic, doesn't it? The colour scheme on that's amazing, and they're so clean and so professional.
Here we have Lovelock and Lawrence, and that's Craig Chaplow and new Dutch passenger Kees Endeveld on the number 73 machine. Roger Lovelock carrying number 1. Other than that, no sponsorship logos at all on that outfit, whether it means he has no deal sorted or he simply hasn't had time to get the paint done, I can't tell you. But there you have Driver Wolf, BMW Racing, Lovelock and Lawrence. Chaplow has got himself some sponsors as well this year, so he's turned out very prettily. Whether Kees Endeveld, who is the Dutch champion passenger, and did you know, you obviously do because you're a passenger, but there is a championship for passengers in Holland as distinct from drivers.
No, I didn't know that, actually, so you've educated me on that one.
Kees Endeveld won the Dutch championship passenger title with 3 different drivers, the last of which was Tim Reeves.
Really?
In the final Dutch round. So you score points as a passenger in Holland.
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good to me. I'm not sure you get any of the money, but you certainly get some of the points. And there, that looks like Barry James. Is that Barry James behind? Is that number 112 on the John Cable outfit? Yes, it is. Barry James and Aki Alto with Craig Chaplow there. And Aki Alto, of course, entertained us last year with Johan Reuterholt, the disabled Swedish driver, who's having not exactly a year's sabbatical, but he's taking a bit of time out.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not in his championship because he's very competitive last year, wasn't he?
Very colourful, very entertaining, but the Finnish passenger doing a good job. Oh, a little kiss on the way through. Tim Reeves going past Ian Drown. That's lapping Ian Drown and Ken Edwards. Ian Drown, another one who's turned to engine change. Kawasaki power now for Ian Drown.
Yeah, he's gone over to Kawasaki, and actually he was having problems with that, wasn't he, in qualifying? It's misfiring, it won't hit top gear. But he's actually doing 51s around there, which isn't bad considering the problems he's having, so that'll be quick, I think, when it gets going properly.
Very, very good. I understand the thing is not peaking out, it's sort of levelling off at 11. And coming round now to take the checkered flag, Tim Reeves, home and dry on this one. Pole position in qualifying, checkered flag, race 1 win to Tim and Tristan Reeves, and their body language tells the story. Another good runner-up spot for Hegarty. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson will get the final podium spot, and behind them, terrific 4th place for Mark Edwards, fighting off a determined challenge from Ben Holland and Lee Watson. So they've opened the batting in strong form as well. Reeves, Hegarty, Peach, that's the podium. Edwards 4th from Holland, and Lovelock, reigning champion, 6th. He just has to be pleased with that. First time out on the BMW. Barry James and Aki Alto there in 7th. Ian Drown, Brian Gray, even Andy Sloan and Rod Robinson all get points. Well done, chaps. Well, the sun's shining. I've got the top 2 crews here. Fantastic. Tim and Tris, what a way to start your season. Brilliant ride.
Yeah, great, mate. I really enjoyed it, and I knew that this man here was going to give me a battle, and then when I looked behind and saw that Andy had got in front of him, I pushed and pushed for 5 or 6 laps. I knew he'd be on my heels otherwise, and I looked in the middle of the race, I backed it off a little bit, and I could see him coming back at me, and I've got to get my head down. You can't give Mr. Hegarty any gap, as he'd be biting at your heels. I love racing him, it's great.
Brilliant stuff. Tris, did the buzz come back?
Oh, definitely, yeah. That first lap was like, took me straight back to the old days. It was like up the airpin. It's brilliant, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Okay, another race to come tomorrow, but same again, hopefully.
Thank you, yeah, spot on.
Well, let's have a word now, because we got Sean Hegarty here.
Come on, Sean, that was brilliant. Cracking first lap.
It was a bit hectic, to be honest with you. Andy makes his bike as wide as possible to get past. If we could get past a bit quicker, I think I could have given Tim a bit of a run, but I had a bit of white paint on Tristan's arse. It was that close. I mean, bum.
Did you learn anything from that race you're going to bring into play next time out?
Try and get ahead of Andy from the start.
How about you, Callum? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I'm always excited, you know me. It's good to be back, and especially riding with Sean. We've got a full season ahead of each other together, like, and I want to be up in it to win it, like, so I really want to win this championship this year, so.
Good start to the season, though.
Yeah, great, 20 points, can't knock that, can we? Hopefully one better next time.
Brilliant. Let's walk round, we'll keep on going quickly. We'll go around here because we'll try not to get into the sun. We've got Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. So, Andy, a great start for you. What a fantastic start to your season.
A good start, just wanted a little better. But hey-ho, today's another day, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's a good point. You're so much better than last season already.
Yeah, no, we're back where we started the end of last season, so hopefully we've just got to work our way back up. So, yeah, we'll get there.
You gave me a big grin and your thumbs up when you came in.
It's good fun. Good fun being back at the front.
Welcome back to the grid, and it's cold. This is race 2, of course. The grid decided by the result of race 1. Crews will be coming through, threading through the format. We're looking for the new front line of Tim Reeves. He goes past as I speak. And alongside him, of course, will be Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. They too are making their way through. But now making our way through to the front, let's have a look. A brilliant ride by Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett on that number 8 distinctive Kawasaki. He was going really, really well. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson too down here. The L&W Suzuki flying as well. We might see Andy Peach out on a BMW at some stage during the season. But going through to the front row, this is it. This is where the battle's going to be. Watch out for Hegarty and Lawson coming through. Tim Reeves and Tristan, his brother, have been impeccable all weekend. You're not going to bet against another Reeves victory, but it's going to be a cracking race, 18 laps in the chilly Brands Hatch. Tim Reeves always up for a laugh, isn't he? The consummate professional, but when he gets in that bike, there's nobody. You wouldn't bet against him. But let's see. Alongside him now, Sean Hegarty. All Hegarty needs to do is get the drop. Andy Peach has got a big hole in the middle he could drive through, theoretically, except it's not there anymore. Reeves has got the drop. Away they go down Paddock Hill Bend. Ben Holland nicely into 4th. A good start from the Irishman, number 90, John Clark. Darkey is there in 5th place. Not a good start for Mark Edwards. He appeared to be going backwards off the line. There he is at the apex of the turn at Druids, ahead of the reigning champion Lovelock and Lawrence. 1st and 2nd, it's status quo. Out they go. Reeves then. Andy and Philip Sloan, number 62 at the back. They've not been without their problems this weekend. Hopefully they're going to contest as many of the rounds as they can, but of course it's 2 brothers and a father running that team out of their own bank balances, and it just gets tough. It gets impossible for some of these. Rupert Archer, Jason Grimes there on the yellow and orange colour outfit towards the back of the pack. But of course, those guys who retired from race 1 start at the back of the pack race 2, because the grid is determined by the qualification in race 1. So any retirements start at the back. So there's a lot of work to do for some of those guys. Craig Chaplow, Kay Zendervelt, who started so strongly in race 1 and suspect a little bit of passenger fatigue caused them to drop back. But, oh, Brian Gray and Roy Farmer, hand in the air. They're retiring off the gravel onto the grass on the run down from Druids. Let's have a re-look then at the start. We're on board with Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett, and as I said, they did appear. That's Ian Guy and Ben Ransley on the white outfit going through in the thick of the action. Ian Guy hasn't gone that fast for years. What's happened to him? He's absolutely flying now, rocketing through on an outfit which is jointly owned by Carol McBride, my co-commentator, who's with me for the rest of the season. Carol, delighted to have you back.
Yeah, delighted to be here, Barry. You know, it was a brilliant start, wasn't there, by Ian? But he'll tire probably. He's an old fella, isn't he? So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he is an old fella. Well, he's not as old as me, but one of those guys who's ridden at the top level Grand Prix over the years. And look at coming through that. That's Barry James, 112, and Aki Alto. Barry James and John Clark, number 90 and 112. John Clark with Dipash Chauhan in the sidecar.
the young Asian passenger who's got a wealth of experience, Isle of Man, TT, the whole lot, suffered a fairly dramatic injury in 2011, causing him to have a year out of the sport, but he's back now, teaming up with John Clark. Let's hope that continues, because Clarkey needs a good passenger. Stuart Graham, the man who rode with him last year, family commitments, one thing and another, curtailing his Sidecar racing. Barry James, 112, a proven talent round here at Brands. We know how quickly Barry James can go. So, yeah, he's got the better of John Clark. There's Craig Chaplow, number 73, and Mark Edwards, with Ricky Stevens, the filling in the sandwich. It's fair to say all the young talent there in a bunch.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ricky Stevens especially, isn't he? He's going very, very well, isn't he, considering he's quite new compared to the others.
Well, a retirement from race one for Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, but very strongly supported by brother Wayne, a former passenger, of course, in his own right. And there, through on the inside, Ricky Stevens, underneath Craig Chaplow, Simon Gilbert, Nathan Robinson, again a retirement. So did you say that Simon Gilbert had something of a legacy of unreliability? Has there been a mechanical problem in the past?
Yeah, he has on previous seasons. I mean, when he was doing this series a few years back, he had issues then. And that's Mark Edwards, isn't it?
Mark Edwards going through, making a dive there at Surtees and making it stick. So he's in pursuit of Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood. Edwards then has gone past. So Chaplow now slipping further down the order. Ben Holland ahead of Barry James. There's Craig Chaplow, Kees Endeveld, number 73, the Dutchman. Let's have a look at how he's positioning himself, seemingly doing a good job. We wouldn't give him 4 out of 10, we'd give him 8 out of 10 for that corner, wouldn't we?
Yeah, he's doing a very good job there, isn't it? It's not easy, is it? I mean, this is a short circuit, but it's not particularly easy. And that's Andy Peach, isn't it, getting caught with the back marker there? So I think he's just passed in Rod Robinson, was it? No, Sloanes, beg your pardon. It's the Sloanes, wasn't it?
Andy Sloane, 62, from Hitchin in Hertfordshire, running the Suzuki, and they put this thing together in their garage at the side of the house. I won't give you the street and house number in case you're up for going and nicking it, but I can tell you it's Hitchin. You'd have a long way to hunt to find that bike in Hitchin. Barry James, Aki Alto, 112. Good to see Barry James back on the John Cable Racing. Rupert Archer and Jason Grimes. A long way to come from Shrewsbury for it all to end in tears. Sorry, guys, they were not happy with the bike. After qualifying, they said there's a lot more to come. They'd done 52s. He said, I'm capable of a lot quicker than that.
Yeah, and it's quite a big step for them, isn't it? Because the race distance is a lot longer than it is in the club races. I mean, you're going from sort of 7 laps, aren't you, up to, well, this was 18 laps, this one, isn't it? It's
18 laps. It's a long race. I know it's a short circuit. Lap times in the region of 48s, 49s. But Ricky Stevens, John Clark and Dipash Chauhan ahead of them. And I tell you, John Clark's doing well here. This man was injured at the end of last season, and then an MRI scan identified a tumour on the top of his neck, on his spinal cord. They've had it out, and he's sitting there in 6th place. Fair play to you, John Clark. Brilliant, brilliant ride. Ahead of Stevens, Edwards, Chaplow and Guy. Ian Guy then in a 6-point position in 10th place at the moment. Ricky Stevens underneath at Druids as I speak, so he's elevated himself 1 more place up the leaderboard. Mark Edwards, number 8, and Lee Barrett trying desperately to get their way past John Clark and make amends for that slowly, sluggish start, but a great mid-pack race.
Yes, fantastic. He's got through there now, actually, and I think he's going to be looking to pick Ricky off as well, isn't he? He's not going to settle for that.
Mark Edwards, Lee Barrett, a great talented rider in all sorts of disciplines. We're going for a short break. Welcome back to race 2 here in round 1 at Brands Hatch of the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship, and it's the old firm still in business. Tim and Tristan Reeves, SMT Suzuki, leading Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. They are now easing away from a chasing Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson, the number 4 crew, just coming into view as I speak. But Tim Reeves, that glance over the shoulder every now and then, but the gap was at one point down to 0.9 of a second. But I think his pit board has given him the hurry up. His father Brian in the pits, and there John Lawson, Callum Lawson's father, the passenger in the second place crew getting the hurry up as well. So the immaculate outfit of Tim Reeves, and you will have the pleasure here on Motors TV of watching Tim Reeves at each and every one of the 10 rounds. But it's Hegarty has done the 48.431, and that is just 0.1 of a second outside the lap record held by Ben and Tom Birchall. So despite the cold, Carol, despite the cold, they're lapping respectably.
Yeah, indeed they are, because the track temperature's not going to be up this time of year, is it?
Here we come then, Lovelock and Lawrence behind. Endeveld on the back. Oh, look, there's a tap. Case Endeveld is tapping Chaplow. Now, whether that's to say Lovelock is coming through, but why the dickens would he do that anyway? Because they're racing. But there was a definite tap there from the passenger on Craig Chaplow. That could be, hang on, mate, I've got arm pump or something like that. We don't know. Could be anything.
No, it could be anything. It could be that he's got arm pump. It could be that he spotted something on the bike. But you can see Craig's definitely backed off there, isn't he? That's a shame. That's
a shame. Lovelock and Lawrence, though, up one more place. The BMW of team driver Wolf. Roger Lovelock, the reigning champion. Apart from the number, there's nothing on that bike in the way of stickers and sponsors. Rod Robinson and Nick Webb retiring. So Robinson this year out on Suzuki, having ditched the crossplane Yamaha, which, with the greatest respect to Yamaha, the crossplane bike does not go quickly in standard form. Nothing like as fast as the Suzukis and Kawasaki's that it would be pitted against. Mark Edwards on a Kawasaki, and look how quick that is. Going through, no he's not. Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood closing the gap. This young crew are tough. Charlwood is fit, he's diminutive, but he's wiry, and he's very, very fit and determined. They're holding their own against an equally determined Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett. Carol, on a short circuit like this, the passenger's job harder or easier?
I think it's actually harder on the short circuit, to be quite honest. If you want the GP circuit, you've got more rest spots. On here, it's just you're on the go the whole time, and you don't really get enough rest down the straight here.
It's all a bit frantic, isn't it? It's go, go, go.
It is, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it actually is about relaxing. You've got to make sure that you don't hold on, pump your arms up, and pace yourself.
Nowhere to relax. Barry James, Aki Alto, there's an accomplished passenger, the man in black, the black helmet. The Finnish passenger knows what this is all about. He's ridden with the best in the world, and I have to say that his fellow Finn and former world champion Pekka Pavarinta wanted him for this season, but Aki was unable to commit to the whole season. Pavarinta's bad news is our good news. We're on the last lap because we've got the Finnish passenger in our series, at least for the first 2 rounds. SMT Suzuki in the hands of Tim and Tristan Reeves on the last lap here for a flawless weekend. Pole position, 2 race wins will move them on to a maximum point from the first round going into round 2 at Thruxton, but they've done it here on home soil, chased all the way by Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. The checkered flag awaiting then Tim and Tristan Reeves. Victory here in race 2. Immaculate performance from them. Waiting now for the 3rd place crew, Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Number 4, there they go, lapping Ian Drown and Ken Edwards, not quite. Tim and Tristan Reeves. What impresses me about Tim Reeves, despite being 4 times world champion, is he's always thrilled to win a race. He's modest in victory. There you are. Reeves, Hegarty and Peach, top 3, that's the podium. Holland and James, what a battle they had. Ricky Stevens and Charlwood were in the mix with Edwards and Barrett. John Clark still there in 8th. Gary Horspool and Napton, that's no less than they deserve. Ian Guy and Ben Ransley. Chaplow slipped back to 12th. There's more to come from him, I can tell you. Tim and Tristan, well done, fantastic race.
Yeah, thanks mate, it's nice to be back at Brands and be in the British Championship. It's nice to have him back on the side, and let's hope we can carry it on, eh? It's nice to get the British Championship back, wouldn't it? And yeah, I'm pretty chuffed.
Tris, how do you feel? You now know what you've been missing, don't you?
Yeah, definitely, it's nice to be back on there, but I'm just still not 100%, still a bit rusty, not relaxing where I should have been. But more time on the bike, I should get more, relax a bit more and get more comfortable, and yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah. I heard you talking earlier, and you said you haven't been to Thruxton for a little while, so that's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, 10 years the last time I was there, and the machinery was on then was nowhere near as good as we're on. I'm quite looking forward to going there, and we're going to have aggro with Mr. Hegarty, aren't we? It's been, it might have looked easy from where you were, but trust me, it wasn't. If I'd hit one of them tail enders wrong, he'd have been on me, and I really enjoy racing with him. We've known each other since we were kids, and It's going to be a good year, I reckon. And a massive thanks to SMT, Robin Croft and Warren and my dad and Aith and H&S Contractors and all the people that help us. We couldn't do it without them. Thanks very much.
Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson. I've just spoken to Tim, and he was very complimentary. He said he was trying, and he knew you were there. You're going to give him a fight this year, he said.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to try and get him again. It's just like old times, like 8 years when me and Tris and Tim was all racing, and it's just the same now. You can trust him really good, so I just need to catch him a bit more now.
Callum, you're hyper on a good day. Now you're really, really hyper. What a terrific weekend you've had.
Yeah, I'm always hyper. Yeah, good solid points again. Couldn't have asked for much more. I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, Sean Hegarty Limited, Lawson Road Playing, Q8 all a massive thank you, Freight Daytona and many others, 151. I appreciate it.
Well, you can't do better than that, can you? 50 points from the first round, and they're the top three of the championship. Andy Peach starting much more strongly than he did in 2012. Ben Holland, he's where he wants to be, as indeed Mark Edwards. Barry James back with a bang, going really, really well. Ricky Stevens, disappointing. It wasn't his fault, they had mechanical problems, but he goes away with 10 points anyway, better than nothing. Well, that's it from a breathless round one here at Brands Hatch. Let's hope all the new sponsors, the Finning Cats of this world, and all the people who are here for the first time really enjoyed F1 Sidecar racing, because we always do. Round two comes from Thruxton in Hampshire, blisteringly fast, and you heard it from their own lips. Neither Reeves nor Hegarty have been there for a long, long time, so it could be all change at Thruxton. Don't miss it. Love to see you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.